Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Timon of Athens, and we get to hear from Timon today in Act 5, Scene 1. So Timon is still kind of living in this cave, and at the beginning of the scene we had the poet and the painter from the very beginning of the play come back because they had heard that he had found some gold. So of course they wanted to go see if they could get some of it from him, even though they didn't have anything to sell him or present him with. They just went with the idea of, oh, I'm gonna paint this great painting and you should give me money for it. Timon saw through that in large part because he was watching them have that conversation before he actually talked to them, and chased them away with some really harsh words. He chased them away and they're, ugh. But then the steward and a couple of senators show up, and the steward was like, this is not a good idea. He really doesn't want to see anybody. But they insisted, and Timon came out to speak to them. And yesterday we got to hear from the second senator saying that the people of Athens have come to miss Timon and his generosity and all of this sorts of thing. So they would like him to come back to Athens, and they will give him whatever he wants. They will give him as much to repay any debts that are owed and to wipe everything clear. And then the first senator says, yeah, and we also want you to sort of lead Athens because Alcibiades is about to attack and we need somebody to help protect our city. And Timon at first is like, almost getting weepy over it. And they're like, great, so you'll come back? And Timon says, well, sir, I will. Therefore, I will, sir, thus. If Alcibiades kill my countrymen, let Alcibiades know this of Timon, that Timon cares not. But if he sack fair Athens, and take our goodly aged men by the beards, giving our holy virgins to the stain of contumelious, beastly, mad-brained war, then let him know, and tell him Timon speaks it, in pity of our aged and our youth. I cannot choose but tell him that I care not. And let him take it at worst, for their knives care not while you have throats to answer. For myself, there's not a whittle in the unruly camp, but I do prize it at my love before the reverend's throat in Athens. So I leave you to the protection of the prosperous gods as thieves to keepers. So basically this monologue is Timon saying, psych, and dropping the mic and leaving. What he's saying, they're pleading for him to come back and protect the country. And he's like, oh, the country's going to be ravaged? I don't care. Alcibiades wants to come and destroy it. Tell him that I don't care. And you can use those words exactly. I don't care. So yeah, he basically just tells them all to leave because he has no love left for Athens. And they're like, but we need help. We don't know what to do. And there's a bit of back and forth, and he eventually is like, I do know a way that people can avoid being slaughtered by Alcibiades en masse. And they're like, what is it? What is it? And he's like, see, I've got this tree here that I was going to cut down. Anybody that wants to avoid being killed should get out here before I cut this tree down and hang themselves in it. So Timon is being very, very pleasant, and they realize that this was a pointless exercise to come out and ask him for help. And the senators and the steward, Timon goes back into his cave first, and the senators are like, how are we going to protect Athens now? And they and the steward leave, and that is the end of Act 5, Scene 1. So yeah, we're getting dangerously close to the end of the play. And at this point, it sort of feels like Timon may not come back around, but there's still this war going on. And, was that the last that we were ever going to hear of Epamantis? We'll find out. We've actually only got 2 more days of this. We've got tomorrow and the day after, and then we're done with Timon of Athens. So we'll be wrapping it up quick. But come on back tomorrow and see how it goes. Mwah.